In LA this week,
Los Angeles seniors, the newest to receive free computers courtesy of a City of LA recycling program that benefits disadvantaged neighborhoods. I'm Gil Reyes with the story next.
I'm Anna Margot, St. John's Family Center, helping to spearhead more homeless solutions. We'll tell you more about that coming up.
When you gotta go, you gotta go. I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, how LAX is helping our canine passengers.
hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Well, if it's not affecting your neighborhood, it likely will soon. With homelessness on the rise, experts are getting creative and figuring out ways to solve the problems before they get any worse. Gil Reyes shows us one idea.
We want to make sure that we follow up as well.
City, county, and federal governments try to think outside the box to battle LA's homeless crisis.
It's an epidemic you probably saw driving on the way here. It is a moral crisis. And I think each one of us is here first and foremost because we feel that ethical pull.
At this discussion in South Los Angeles, Housing and Urban Development Secretary Julian Castro says the rest of the country is ready to follow LA's ideas.
As LA goes, so goes the nation. That's how significant the numbers here are in Los Angeles because of the population, because of the challenges, and also the opportunities that are presented to this city.
One of those opportunities could end up being ingenious in the way it battles homelessness and crime at the same time. In recent years, the LA City Attorney's Office has issued nuisance abatement lawsuits on property owners whose motels were teeming with crime. If those sites didn't clean up their acts, the city shut them down, allowing developers to move in, purchase them at a discount, make very minor alterations, and turn them into affordable housing. Since these abandoned motels are already there, some could be refurbished and opened to the homeless as early as January. In fact, 500 homeless veterans with government vouchers in hand could be moving in this winter. Celeste Garcia, who is homeless, says other buildings in downtown could also be transformed.
I think that's great. I think that's a wonderful idea because they're a menace. They're just sitting there and they're not doing nothing good. Now you're going to be doing something good with them.
Now, if only more landlords accepted tenants with these federally funded move-in vouchers.
I know there's a stigma. We have to overcome that stigma because it's important everybody plays a role in solving the homeless issue, especially our veterans who've given so much to our country.
Things could always go faster than they are, but we're working very hard. There's a ballot measure that voters will be able to support this coming fall that will help us move even faster.
The city is also asking us, the voters, to pass a $1.2 billion housing bond, a property tax this November to raise even more money for homeless housing, in a fight that may require a number of creative solutions. In South LA, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The city estimates more than 2,000 people have federally funded housing vouchers in hand, but have not found places to live. Well, those living on the streets came out in full force during another brainstorming session hosted by St. John's Family Center, a small clinic that helps the poor in South LA. Homeless individuals met with city and county leaders to find some answers. Anna Marcos was there.
Barbara Phillips isn't just one of the working poor. She's also one of the working homeless. She drives for Uber and Lyft, but she's still having trouble getting enough money together to get a place to live.
My goal is to get my son and myself to immediate housing. He's a senior this year and he doesn't deserve to be in this situation, and I feel kind of inadequate mother.
Is the rent too high?
Phillips and others hope to find answers at this National Health Center Week event, which focuses on homeless solutions. LA County has 47,000 homeless. Close to half are African American, even though African Americans only make up 9% of the population. California counts some 115,000 homeless, and city and county leaders are pressuring Governor Jerry Brown to declare a state of emergency in California.
115,000 people in the state of California is a disaster and is an emergency all unto itself, and we need to act accordingly.
The event was put on by St. John's Well Child and Family Center, which provides free health care and counseling to the poor and homeless of South LA. The clinic even has a mobile unit which goes out to where the homeless are. And healthcare workers say that 27% of the people in the program suffer from hepatitis C. Another 5% suffer from HIV and AIDS, along with many other mental and health issues. Without this program, many of them wouldn't get health care at all.
I'm hungry.
But just like there is no solution to malnutrition and hunger except food, there is no solution to homelessness except housing.
St. John's may pick up the health care slack, but local leaders say the city, county, and state must pick up the housing slack. Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson has been working on a housing bond for the city of LA, which will go on the November ballot. If approved, it would pump $1.5 billion into housing for the homeless.
If this passes, we can build real houses, we can get real people off real streets and turn real lives around.
For people like Phillips, that kind of real solution can't happen soon enough. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Community leaders say homelessness in LA has risen by 12% in the last year or two alone, and they're seeing a lot more kids and families. Well, looking for a job in South LA, a new development may soon be hiring in your area. While that sounds like a great opportunity for some, many others don't think so. Ana Marcos explains.
It's a first for South LA, a mixed-use retail and housing development by a private developer on an empty parking lot. But many of the people don't want it.
They are going to come into South Central and displace thousands of people, and that's absolutely not okay. We know that the single units are going to be going for like $2,000, and in our community, we can't afford that. So we know that this is going to be built for people who are not from our community.
Some groups say higher rents will throw out as many as 43,000 people in the community. But Councilmember Curran Price supports the Reef mixed-use development project, saying it could help revive South LA.
It's going to, we think, transform the area. We're excited. It's going to be hotel, office space, condos, retail, and an opportunity to really expand and provide some resources in South LA where we've not seen that before.
It's not fair that these kinds of developments are trying to come into our community and tell us that we have nothing good in our community.
The project will be located near main transit lines, but will not include any affordable housing.
He's not here to benefit the interests of the developers who want to build the Reef. He has to defend the community.
Still, Price says he has the developers' commitment to provide about $15 million for future affordable housing and social programs in the area, and a commitment to hire 30% of the workforce locally during construction. Price says residents can give more input at community and planning meetings as the project moves forward. I'm Ana Marcos for LA This Week.
Price says the project will need close to 3,000 construction workers and could create another 600 permanent jobs. Well, over in the Westlake District, another development is taking shape, but this one is being welcomed with open arms by the whole community. As Gil Reyes explains, Mosaic Gardens at Westlake will soon be home to more than 100 lucky tenants.
A picturesque plot of land overlooking First Street and Glendale Boulevard is the future site of much-needed affordable housing for seniors, the working poor, and the chronically homeless.
It's really hard to find the words to express that this development will have such an impact on the lives of these various populations. I think we're creating hope for people who've had a hard life.
Link Housing, Councilman Mitch O'Farrell and friends break ground on the Mosaic Gardens at Westlake Apartments. When it opens in a couple years, it will house 125 units, more than half of them reserved for the chronically homeless.
We need all hands on deck for this affordable housing crisis, and it is a crisis of the highest magnitude facing this city, facing this county.
Councilman Mitch O'Farrell represents the section of the Westlake District. He says LA County's apartment availability rate is low at just 2.7%. Making matters worse, rents for these scarce one-bedroom apartments have surged in recent years.
The average rent in my district is much higher than $2,000 per month, but the average household income still hovers around $38,000 a year. So my own constituents can't afford to technically even live in my own district.
The city and county of LA are plotting on ways to build more affordable housing. LA voters could be asked to approve one or more measures this fall to fund future projects. In the Westlake District, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Mosaic Gardens at Westlake will also offer physical, mental health, and job placement services for tenants. Rents will dip as low as $528 a month. Well, a suspect is arrested in connection with a series of break-ins and attempted sexual assaults. A couple of new parklets brings the community together in Palms, and new synthetic soccer fields in the San Fernando Valley kick into high gear. All these stories in Citybeat. A suspect wanted in connection with several home robberies and attempted sexual assaults in Echo Park, East Hollywood, and Silver Lake was arrested one day after officials offered a $35,000 reward for information leading to his arrest and conviction. The suspect was caught on surveillance video in at least 8 cases since the first one took place on August 1st.
We need to send a very strong message that this behavior will not be tolerated.
2 new parklets were unveiled in the community of Palms. These parklets, which also feature a garden, are located a block apart on Motor Avenue. They were proposed by Mayor Eric Garcetti and supported by Councilmember Parklets, as well as the Palms community. Officials say they'll provide much-needed restful and pleasant gathering places for the greater neighborhood.
It's so beautiful. It's a pretty little oasis in the middle of a busy city.
So food is being grown and people sit and socialize, but they can also grab a strawberry and eat it at the same time.
Say goodbye to dirt and rock as 3 new synthetic turf soccer fields begin to take shape at Whitsett Fields Park. The Department of Recreation and Parks, along with Councilmember Paul Krikorian, held a groundbreaking ceremony to mark the beginning of the project. The large existing soccer fields, as well as 2 smaller ones, will be renovated. The synthetic fields will increase water conservation efforts and provide a new and consistent playing surface for soccer players of all ages.
This is going to be the model of soccer facilities for the San Fernando Valley.
If you are a senior and you have a computer, well, you're one of the lucky ones. You can share photos of your grandchildren and talk with them online. But many other low-income seniors can't do that because they don't have a computer. As Gil Reyes shows us, the city is hoping to change that. Gil.
Well, Yana, as you know, we've covered extensively the rollout of these free hour cycle computers in low-income neighborhoods, also at summer camp for disadvantaged children. But this is the first such rollout in a low-income housing community for seniors, so they too could bridge the digital divide. How you feel?
Yeah, I'm so happy.
Young Ju Burnett is among the 90 tenants in the senior living community in Jefferson Park receiving free computers, Wi-Fi included.
They all go through a computer training course, which they just finished, and we'll actually be assisting them inside their units, hooking up the computers to make sure they're 100% working and they're ready to be used.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
It's the latest giveaway in the Our Cycle LA program. Our Cycle has taken thousands of old City of LA computers and instead of throwing them away, repairs them for people in need. The city's Information Technology Agency, or ITA, came up with the idea. It hired the nonprofit group Human IT to do the repairs, and together they work with the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles to find recipients.
Not only do you have interagency collaboration here, but you have summer youth workers earning $10.50 an hour, just gaining valuable experience, helping us distribute this technology. So, I mean, it's a perfect marriage of all these sort of entities coming together for a really good cause.
Yohan Palacios, a paid student intern from Contreras Learning Academy, is also helping the mostly Korean-American tenants reconnect with family back in Korea through email. Many of them have never owned a computer. This class teaches the basics.
We should get back to the community. Doesn't matter to who. It's just as long as you do something helpful. Personally, I feel really good about it.
A lot of people are physically disabled, so they can't leave this location. So now they really have the world at their fingertips.
By finally entering the digital age. In Jefferson Park, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Since its launch a year and a half ago, our cycle has given away refurbished computers to underserved areas in Koreatown, Baldwin Village, and San Pedro. Well, turning now to the Port of LA, where a gateway to the sea has opened for students at Cal State Dominguez Hills and Harbor College. And it's a chance for them to take the plunge at one of the largest and busiest ports. Rasha Goel has more.
And in fact, many of us, like myself, were the first in our families to graduate from college. And also I was the first in my family to get a graduate degree. I've met a lot of the students and their families, and we have a lot of similarities.
And that's why Executive Director at the Port of Los Angeles, Gene Soroka, is hoping that the signing of this Memorandum of Understanding with California State University Dominguez Hills and Los Angeles Harbor College will help boost interest in a career at the Port of LA.
They're teaming up with the Port of Los Angeles to ensure our students enter the job market prepared, competitive, and confident.
The agreement will train students who are interested in careers in port operations and logistics.
Our students from the community at whatever level and whatever their career goals may be is certainly going to benefit from this great opportunity.
15 paid internships will be available to students who are studying global logistics or a related field. In addition, employees from the Port of Los Angeles will also visit both campuses as guest lecturers.
And we'll ask the students what their likes and dislikes are so we can match up maybe some areas of strength with what our department wants to do, but also if there's area that needs improvement and they want to really hone up on certain skills, we can maybe match that skill set up as well.
Officials say it's truly a rare opportunity to work one-on-one with port professionals and learn firsthand from their experiences.
This kind of partnership, a partnership between a community college, a four-year college, and a business and industry, that's not the norm, but it should be. And what we're hoping is that this MOU and what we're doing will serve as a model for other industry leaders to engage in.
And for today, it's the first step in engaging and exposing students to jobs right in their own backyard. In San Pedro, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
The Port of LA facilitates more than 133,000 jobs in the city of LA and 2.8 million jobs nationwide. Well, from a career on the sea to a career in the sciences, if your child has a knack for math and research, they could help find cures for deadly diseases through a program at Cedars-Sinai. Gil Reyes reports on stem cell research as a cutting-edge career.
Come back over, don't be shy.
High school kids aspiring to be doctors and scientists one day get to live out their dreams for a week, working in professional laboratories over the summer.
It's the type of work that usually people my age don't get the chance to do. So it's honestly a great experience to go and use resources that aren't really available to people my age.
Cedars-Sinai Medical Center opens its research labs to around 20 LA Unified High School students during its Minors in Research program.
We have a 1 week time for the students to immerse themselves in stem cells in the laboratory and see our scientists working day to day and how we're using stem cells to both treat and model human diseases.
Clive Svensson of the Regenerative Medicine Institute calls stem cell research the most cutting-edge area of science. It makes the use of pluripotent stem cells, which can be programmed to produce any cell in the human body. This could one day cure Crohn's disease, juvenile diabetes, spinal cord injuries, even baldness. These young people could be administering treatments one day. Today, they're apprentices.
So we break them up into groups of 2 or 3, and we pair them with scientists from the Institute, and they will have a project that they will work on in the laboratory.
At the end of the week, the interns will present their findings to around 100 professional scientists. Palisades Charter High School student Orben Shlomo calls it a chance of a lifetime.
And so actual lab experience, hands-on with the mentor is great. And I also get a paper out of it in the end. So I get my name on a paper published in some magazine, and that's great.
Great, all right, and just a sample of greater things to come for these budding young scientists. At Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Cedars-Sinai is home to one of the top institutes for stem cell research, research that might one day also cure Alzheimer's and heart disease. But being able to find those cures begins early by laying the groundwork for good study habits. As the new school year gets underway, it's important that kids have the supplies they need to learn and excel. As Anna Marco shows us, some kids in Watts are off to a great start.
In Watts, getting kids ready for another school year is reason enough for a block party. This one, the Watts Back to School Community Block Party, has become a 7-year tradition. One of the highlights, a backpack giveaway for 550 lucky school children.
Well, what's going to happen is they don't have to cry when they go to school the first day with other children having backpacks and they don't have any backpacks. And it makes it look as if nobody cares about them because the parents is not working and they can't do it.
Many kids and families in the neighborhood come from poverty or disadvantaged backgrounds, and a backpack full of school supplies is a pretty big deal.
To see the joy and the expressions of joy on these kids' faces as well as the parents, it just does my heart good. This community has endured a lot.
To sweeten the deal, event organizers are also giving the kids a $5 coupon to start a savings account. Enticements to do well in school? Definitely.
We know for research that a kid that starts savings at a very early age, they have 7 times more chances to finish college. So that's why it's so important for us to create that habit.
It makes them have the love when they go back into the classroom, not the hate. Because if you have love, you won't bother people. But if you go in there with hate, you're not going to study too well and get along with the rest of them.
A little folk wisdom, a backpack, some face painting, and some burgers. Sounds like the recipe for a great start to a brand new school year. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Now, in addition to supplies, books also play a huge role in our students' success. But did you know that 31 million children in the U.S. don't have access to books in their home, including those right here in LA? But as Gil Reyes reports, generous donations are helping to change that.
And this is the back of the book.
Story time at the Women, Infants, and Children's Center in Watts comes with a surprise this week: free children's books for center recipients like Kayvon Roten and her kids.
I love it. It's my kids love to read. I love to read to them. You know, it's just awesome.
The giveaway, courtesy of the Books Across America program. Books Across America is an effort announced on the Dr. Oz Show to deliver much-needed books to families in need. In a week's time in May, 45,000 books nationwide were collected.
People were really generous. We were so surprised. And the WIC centers, over 700 of them, are distributing them to low-income families. So they're getting in the hands of moms, dads, caregivers of children under the age of 5, which is exactly what we wanted.
Renee Frazier of Frazier Communications says reading to kids during those first 5 years is critical for successful childhood development and academic success. Women, Infants, and Children, or WIC centers like this one, primarily offer food services to struggling families, but opened its doors for the book giveaway as another way to help. This WIC center is located in the Watts Health Center.
A good majority of them are patients, but WIC is open to the community. We have actually 5 WIC sites.
Sandra Brooks is children's librarian at the nearby Watts Library. She has advice for parents beyond books.
If you're having a problem reading to your child, pick up a newspaper or a book, or just tell them what you're doing. You don't have to do anything special. If you're doing something, you're going to the grocery store and you're making a list, tell them, I'm putting milk on this list, I'm putting bananas on this list. Children love to hear your voice, so always talk to them.
And help ensure their future success. In Watts, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The Dr. Oz Show worked with First 5 California and UPS to collect and deliver the books all across the country. Well, LAX has gone to the dogs, but that's a good thing if you travel with your beloved four-legged friend. Rasha Goel shows us how LAX is giving our canine companions the first-class treatment.
Don't worry about stepping into it, because LAX is taking care of it. 8 indoor animal relief stations and 3 outdoor stations are now open at LAX and will give our four-legged friends and passengers some relief while waiting for their flights.
our guests that are traveling with service animals and pets will now have the convenience of staying inside our terminal concourses, not having to leave their boarding areas for their pets to be relieved and go through security. So this is a very effective and efficient way of our passengers being able to come through security one time and then when needed have a facility here for their pets to find relief.
With a total of 11 stations, LAX has the highest number of animal relief stations than any other airport in the United States. And not only will these stations be helpful for the passengers, but they'll also be helpful for the dogs that work here. The opening of the stations coincided with this year's National Work Like a Dog Day, which gave airport officials an opportunity to honor service, law enforcement, and therapy animals at LAX.
Our pups roam throughout the terminals to provide affection and comfort that again alleviate some of the stress and anxiety that some passengers experience when traveling through airports.
LAX's PUP program, or Pets Unstressing Passengers, currently has 55 volunteer dogs and is the largest therapy dog program among all U.S. airports.
They just really needed to be with the dog, and they couldn't believe there was one at LAX of all places.
With the relief stations, LAX is returning the love that our animal friends give us every day. At LAX, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Now, if you want more information on where the relief stations are located, visit lawa.org/welcomelax. While an art exhibit highlights the creative flair of LA artists, grab your family and friends for an outdoor movie screening in Silver Lake. And if you ever wanted to spend more time at Grand Central Market, well, now you can. All this in this week's Things to Do. As part of an ongoing series, Made in LA 2016, Though Only highlights the practices of artists working throughout Los Angeles and the surrounding areas. It addresses Los Angeles as a center of activity and reveals how artists move fluidly between contexts and respond to their local conditions. Made in LA 2016 extends into dance, fashion, literature, music, film, and performance. It closes on August 28th, so don't miss it. For more, visit hammer.ucla.edu. Join the Silver Lake Picture Show for its 15th anniversary screening of Super Troopers. As always, show up early for a free musical performance and short film from local artists, to get the best spot and to eat delicious food from local restaurants. The screening takes place on September 1st at 7 p.m. at the Sunset Triangle Plaza located at 1523 Griffith Park Boulevard. For more, visit silverlakepictureshow.com. Ever wanted to enjoy Grand Central Market a little bit longer? Well, now you can, as it launches summer nights by expanding their hours every evening until 10 p.m. Along with special programming, you can expect live music, evening menu specials, a massive happy hour, and free shuttle services to a wide range of entertainment venues. Most of the market's vendors will remain open until the very end, so take your time, sit back, and relax. For more, visit grandcentralmarket.com. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.